Campus Director, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 graduation ceremony for Middlesex University, Mauritius Branch Campus, to declare the ceremony open and to present our graduates and diplomats. First, however, I would like to share just some of our recent successes with you. There have been many this year, so it's been hard to choose. We've been exceptionally busy. We've appointed new members of staff and upgraded the campus facilities to welcome our growing number of students. Indeed, we have over 170 new graduates celebrating with us today. This success is due to the dedication and hard work of the whole staff team and the enthusiasm and the commitment of our students. Staff and students continued, as last year, to work with and for the local community. Highlights this year included Project Hope, organised by our Middlesex International Student Association of Mauritius, supporting the visually impaired with the donation of audio books to the Lois Largesse Trust Fund. Keeping to the same theme of books, staff and students joined together for our largest community project, the St. Luke Reading Circle. Pupils aged between 11 and 18 sat entranced week after week, eagerly awaiting the next story. The legacy is over 350 new books for St. Luke's and a new generation of children alive to the delights of reading for pleasure. We are proud of our students who continue to make their mark in the media, but for all the right reasons. Our now annual participation in Africa Day was welcomed. The Independent Commission Against Corruption colloquium, Sustaining Youth Engagement in the Fight Against Corruption, was televised for YouTube and had a high Middlesex presence. 10 Middlesex students were invited to participate in a TV programme discussing the water sector in Mauritius, an opportunity to which they rose admirably. Abeyi Surakaman was runner-up in a poster competition organised by the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development to celebrate World Environment Day, while Nicola Awita featured in Essentiel, looking amazing, modelling urban streetwear. The advertising, media and public relations students wrote a thought-provoking article for the national press. To round off the year, 45 of our students will be participating as delegates, chairpersons, security officers, rapporteurs, floor officers and press officers, representing 9 different African countries in the African Union Model Summit organised by the Ministry of Tertiary Education. Staff
and tremendous pleasure to be invited to speak at this graduation ceremony. For me personally, it is very special. It was little more than 5 years ago that what you see today as the Middlesex University Mauritius Branch Campus was a big hole in the ground. Today, as we attend the 3rd graduation ceremony, the campus has become sustainable, a quality achieve provider, and we have led. Where Middlesex has led, others are following. I would like to share with you, and in particular the class graduating today, a few observations and thoughts on life and work. Most of what I offer is common sense, but sometimes that can become uncommon. So especially for those graduating today. Each one of you began your mission for higher education in many different countries, and many here in Mauritius. Many of you will be amazed at your journey and what you have achieved today. I quote, "The individual who graduates today and stops learning tomorrow is uneducated the day after." So graduating today from Middlesex, that has been a part of your passion for learning, does not end today. It must continue as each of you embark on your own unique journey. When you graduate, and in fact I can remember when I graduated, we're all very extremely eager to climb the ladder, to be a manager in 5 years, a managing director in 10, or a CEO, or run our own businesses. Unfortunately, many do not make it to any of these aspirations. Later, many realize that they were the wrong goals. But then, when you're young, we believe we will be happy if we achieve a lot. We want fame and fortune, and as quickly as possible. Please remember, it is not only the goal that counts, it's the journey that matters. The quality of the journey counts, and doing things well is important. Excellence is key. Excellence is not a skill, it's an attitude. Your mission should be to embrace excellence and success. So let me offer you some thoughts here. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It is the courage that counts." Unquote. So ditch the dreams. But it's nice to dream sometimes. Dreams can fortunately change. Be a doer, not a dreamer. I continue to quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. That is what Middlesex has done in Mauritius. And you're an important part of that achievement. We are the first British university to set up a campus here. We provided opportunities for groups of students where there was none. We were the first to run a UK Bachelor's in Law course, approved by the Joint Academic Standards Board in the United Kingdom. We have the most diverse campus on this island. We have the largest number of international students, and we will continue to achieve many other firsts. It has not been easy. Many people have worked very hard. There's a whole team of people who have delivered this campus over the last 5 years. But then anything worth doing is never easy. As somebody once said, if you cannot get through a mountain, go around it. If you cannot go around it, or cannot go over it, sit down and ask yourself, if getting to the other side is all that important. If it is still important to get to the other side, then get yourself some shovels and dig a tunnel.
The first thing is that the future is pretty much unpredictable. And therefore to try and base whatever you're going to do in life on a forecast of the future can turn out to be very wrong. And therefore we prefer to look at different possible paths into the future. You look at the flags which would indicate that you're moving along a particular path, and of course the flags which would indicate that the path is changing. And then finally you then make decisions about what you are going to do. So you weigh up the different futures, you look at the flags, consider the probabilities. So it's a very different way of thinking to people who try and prophesy or forecast the future. But the second thing about scenario planning is that you offer people possibilities about the future which they can actually contribute to. The problem with a forecast is that it is going to happen, whatever you do. Whereas a scenario is something that you can increase the odds on if you want to get involved yourself. And it was like this in the mid-1980s when a very talented team in my company wrote what is called the High Road Scenario for South Africa, where we said that it was possible for the government at the time, the National Party, to sit down and negotiate a sensible political settlement with the ANC. And I can promise you, in the mid-1980s, nobody thought that that could happen. They all thought South Africa would have a civil war.